Welcome in to the 37th episode of the Save Saturday show. We have Will, Ethan Cherry, and Big Bets Bents joining me on the show today. Good to have Cherry back after his absence last week. We missed you, Cherry. So I think we're going to have to start with you. Just what's on your mind tonight as we're getting into the 37th episode?
Yeah, I'm definitely just excited to be back. It's been a little bit, even from the fantasy draft, but it feels good to get back into it.
How excited are you to unveil? Oh, as my cat's come sprinting in. How excited are you to unveil your segment that we've recorded one time, but it never saw the light of day? So this is really the first time the fans are going to get to see it. So how excited are you for that?
I'm pretty excited, but I know the fans are even more excited. So I'm just more excited for them.
I know I'm excited, Ethan.
All right. So last week we did our NFL preview primer, and we didn't get to the Super Bowl matchups and champions or the division winners, as Will backs further into his cave there. So we'll go ahead and get into that portion of the show here, and we'll start with the division winners. So, Will, how would you go ahead and start us off with the AFC? Who you got coming out of each division?
I got to start with the AFC East, Ethan, and I don't think it's any surprise who I got. It's the Buffalo Bills. They're my Super Bowl pick. Josh Allen is my MVP pick. I'm a Patriots fan at heart, but for the show, I got to be honest. And the Buffalo Bills are just too good. They're going to run away with that division. But the Patriots, don't you worry. They're coming for that wild card spot. AFC West. Are we just going each one? All AFC?
Yeah.
AFC West, tough race. A lot of talent there. Great quarterback play. It's going to be a toss-up. But at the end of the day, Justin Herbert is the best quarterback in the league, right behind Josh Allen. And he's going to run away with it. AFC North. Another tough pick here. Steelers look like they could have some promise this year. Browns look like they're still terrible. With that being said, I'm going to have to go with the Bengals to take it again this year. And then to wrap it up, AFC South. It's a tough one. Colts, Titans. I'm going to have to lean Titans. I think Ryan Tannehill is very underrated. I think he's a better quarterback right now than Matt Ryan. And Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor, they pretty much cancel each other out. And I think the defense – they're close. Colts maybe have a little bit of an edge there, but overall, you got to take the Titans.
Got to take the Titans, you say?
I say.
What makes you think that over the Colts? You kind of said it was between those two teams. Jonathan Taylor, kind of the fantasy MVP. They got a new quarterback this year instead of Carson Wentz. They got Matt Ryan. So. Is it what got you thinking Titans?
Well, really, I see them as they're very similar ball club. You got a guy, two quarterbacks, not going to really kill you in the game. They're going to want to hand the ball off, and I got two running backs that are, they're top three in the league. If Derrick Henry stays healthy, JT stays healthy, they're both going to be the highlight of the game. I got two offensive lines. Titans offensive line, not as good as the Colts. It deteriorated in the last few years. But they still got my boy Taylor Lewan out there at left tackle, and I think they're both solid. Finally, defense. I think the Colts got the edge on defense, but at the end of the day, they're two very close ball clubs. They're going to go back and forth. They'll probably split the series. But what brings my decision to the Titans is I've been a Ryan Tannehill guy since day one, since he was at Texas A&M, since he was at Miami. I was on his train all the way from the start. I think he's very underrated, and Matt Ryan is just too old. His time in the league is past. He shouldn't be on a team right now. Ryan Tannehill, he's still at the very end of his prime. I got to go Ryan Tannehill and the Titans.
Fair enough. I think you probably got a better chance of seeing Malik Willis this year starting for the Titans than them winning the AFC South. So it'll be fun to kind of watch them a little bit. But I'm actually I'm going to have a little bit of a surprise for you guys in the AFC. Cherry, how about you go ahead and give us your AFC picks as well?
All right, we'll start off with the North. A couple good teams here. I think the Browns are the obvious worst team in this division. And I'm going to go Ravens winning it by a hair over the Bengals. Ravens, I think, are just going to be able to shut down some of those offenses across the AFC, especially Bengals, I think, even, where Ravens have an awesome secondary. So I think they're a pretty good matchup, good quarterback. And I'm not too worried about the receivers either. They lost Hollywood Brown, but I think Bateman will step in and be just as good, honestly. So I'll go Ravens in the north. Next up, West. I'm going to agree with Will here. I'm going to go Chargers. I think they upgraded big time with Jackson and Khalil Mack. And upgraded defense and Herbert combined. Plus, they got some good receivers. Eckler, too. I think it's kind of the Chargers' year. South, I'm going to go Colts. I like the Titans, too, but I'm going to trust defense and offensive line play. And also Derrick Henry's coming off an injury, which I'm sure he'll be fine. But Taylor, I think, is going to be just as good. So those are my AFC picks.
Did you give us an East pick? Who did you have out of the East?
Oh, East. East is going to be the Bills easy.
Yeah, that one can get a little bit of an afterthought when you're thinking about it, just given all the talent that they have on both sides of the ball up in Buffalo. Ryan, we'll save you for third here.
Perfect.
What do you got for us out of the AFC?
All right. Well, after careful consideration for all divisions, I'll start with the East. I mean, I think this is just Buffalo Bills. I think it's just dominance for the Bills. Going to the north, you got Baltimore, Steelers, Cleveland. I mean, Bengals. I like Joe Burrow and the Bengals. You know, you got Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon. I think they'll take that away. And then the South, Houston, Tennessee. Definitely not Houston, but I like the Colts. I think the Colts will have a good shot at one in the South this year. Even if Matt Ryan can't do it, he's got a great backup in Sam Ellinger. So let's look for some Sam coming out on the field. And then West, I do like the Raiders a lot. I think they have a powerhouse for the offense. Derek Carr's definitely an underrated quarterback. And then with the new wide receiver, Devontae Adams, joining them, I think they're going to be a tough team to beat in the West. Even against Chargers, KC, Broncos, I think they're the team going to come out on top.
I think that Raiders pick is a little bit of a surprise for you guys. What do you think about Ryan's logic there? Do you think that the Raiders can come out of that stacked West? And I mean, you guys both took the Chargers. So what are the Raiders' chances really with the Devontae and Derek Carr?
Personally, I just don't trust that line in defense. And also, I think the run game with that line, I like Josh Jacobs, but behind that offensive line, how much can you trust that they're going to consistently produce a run game, be able to put games away late? No one denies they'll be able to score, but I think teams will be able to score against them pretty good too. They got two good edge rushers, but their secondary is not good.
You know what? Slow down there, Cherry, because the Raiders. When I was looking at the AFC West, I saw the Chargers. They're my obvious pick. But if I'm going number 2, I'm going Raiders all day. This was a team last year without Devontae Adams, beat the Chargers to play in to make the playoffs. I think Derek Carr, like Ryan Tannehill, is one of the more slept-on players in the league. Hunter Renfrow coming off a big year. He's my fantasy sleeper. Not really a sleeper, really, because everyone knows that he's an absolute dog. And between that receiving core, you know, it's going to be a solid team. The new stadium in its second year. I think they got the new OC from New England, McDaniels. It's going to be an electric year. They're going to score a lot of points. I'm with you. The line's going to look interesting, but you know, I think there's too much talent on an offense that they're going to work their way around it. And at the end of the day, I'm all for Ryan's pick there. I have him as my second team, possibly a wild card spot.
You know, my biggest concern with them is, are they going to be able to put teams away late? You saw that Chargers-Raiders game last year, end up winning it, but that's because Chargers had a bad defense. If they go up against a team with a solid defense that can get a stop against them, I think you're going to be able to score a ton against the Raiders this year. And like I said, Carr is going to have a lot of mouths to feed on that offense between Adams, Waller, Renfro, and Jacobs. So with that line too, can't guarantee that Carr's going to stay healthy. I think second best option in the West, I'm going to go Chiefs. I'm talking second.
Oof.
They're my fourth place.
No surprise there.
Last place.
I think that's just a little bit of Mahomes bias, anti-Mahomes bias coming from
Hey,
Will.
you watch it happen. I called it last year. I'm calling it again.
I'll put a Bob Toast on it.
Deal.
What's the Bob bet here, boys?
That Chiefs will. How about I'll put a Bob on it that the Chiefs finish above the Raiders.
Okay.
That's a good one. And then me and Will say Raiders above the Chiefs.
Yeah.
First Bob bet of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's not sure we had one last week, Will.
Yeah, we had one last week.
You did? What was it? It doesn't matter.
Will, under 10.5 wins for KC versus Ethan. I said that
Oh,
KC will get over 10.5. You said you'll hit the under. So you're all the bets are anti-KC right now.
everything against the Chiefs. I love it. I love it.
All right. I've held my AFC Division Winners till last. I'll go through them real quick here. I'm going with Ethan Cherry in the AFC North. I'm taking the Ravens. I like Lamar Jackson. They were the number 1 seed in the entire AFC last year before Lamar Jackson's injury. He's back healthy. I don't think Hollywood Brown leaving is a huge loss. I like Rashad Bateman, too. Packers liked him in the draft 2 years ago. I think he runs really solid routes. He's got the athleticism to be a wide receiver 1 in the league. So I'm going Ravens. Out of the North, in the East, easy, Bills. We're all going Bills on that. I don't think that there's any surprises. I'm keeping my eyes on Miami. I think it could be a big year for Tua in that new offense with their new head coach. But it's going to be Bills for now. I'm playing it safe with the Bills. Out of the West, I'm sticking with Cherry and Will. I'm going Chargers. Sorry, Ryan. I picked Brandon Staley to be Coach of the Year. I picked Justin Herbert to be MVP. They can't have that type of year and not win their division. Neither of those guys are winning an award if they're getting second or third in their division. And then AFC South, I'm hitting you guys with a surprise pick. Give me the Jaguars. I like Trevor Lawrence. I like Travis Etienne. I like James Robinson. I like their offensive weapons. Christian Kirk, not a bad option. So I'm taking the Jags out of the AFC South. That division's a toss-up every year. So why not the young team that's getting a huge boon from not having Urban Meyer in the building anymore? Jaguars. And if not, I think the Jaguars are making the playoffs. I think they're a playoff team this year no matter what.
I like that pick.
Is that a Bob bet?
Anyone want to take me up on that, I'll bob that.
I'm with you. Okay, I didn't say that. I did pick the Jaguars, but I like their bet.
What's the bet, Will?
Jaguars make playoffs or not?
All right. We got the notebook all updated, ready to go. Anyone else? Any other surprises? And anyone? I saw some negative reactions to my Miami comment.
Yeah, I'm not buying into all the Miami hype. I think people are going a little bit too crazy for offensive weapons right now. I think defense is just as important.
Defense wins games.
Mm-hmm. And defense is going to make you win in February. And is Miami going to be able to go up to Buffalo and win a game in the cold?
No.
That's overrated. People said the same thing about San Francisco when they went to Green Bay last year in the playoffs. And look who ended up having a worse game, the Packers.
Well,
right, Miami with Tua is 4-0 against the New England Patriots.
You know why the 49ers won that game? Because they got a better run game and they got the better offensive line. And when I look at Miami, I don't see a good offensive line and I don't see a great run game.
They made some moves on the offensive line. They brought in that stud offensive lineman from the Saints. His name escapes me. Yeah, Teron Armstead. They brought in Teron Armstead. They have some young pieces in that room, and they brought in Chase Edmonds from Arizona to bolster the run game, and Raheem Mostert, one of the fastest running backs in the NFL. So I think they've gone a long way to fix that offense and that offensive line. And when you add Tyreek Hill alongside Jalen Waddle, I think Mike Gesicki is a dangerous option at tight end as well. I'm looking at those three guys, along with Chase Edmonds, who's one of the best receiving backs in the NFL. And I'm like, how are you covering all these guys? Who's going to be covering all these guys? And then on the flip side of the offense, or on the defense, I think Miami's got plenty fine pieces. Brian Flores was a bit of a defensive guru. A lot of those guys are still in the building. So I don't think there's going to be a huge fall off now that Mike McDaniel's there. I think Tua's going to have a real good year. I put my money where my mouth was. I drafted him in our fantasy league even. I have a lot of confidence in Miami.
I definitely could see him having a good year, but I think that defense will probably take a hit once Flores is gone now. And just that line. I don't trust that line.
Hold up, bro. 1 second, guys. We're talking about the Dolphins and the Bills. I think we're forgetting a team up north, the New England Patriots. Pro Bowl quarterback Mac Jones in his second year. Lost a little weight in the offseason. Our reports saying he has better command of the offense. Looks way better in his rookie year. We got an offensive line, fantastic offensive line, New England, like always. We got an elite running game, one of the best running back rooms in the league. I stand by that. That defense, Bill Belichick, defensive specialist. You know that defense is always going to show up. Can't count out the Patriots just yet.
All right. Going all the way back. Dolphins bring in Melvin Ingram in the linebacker room. He's a stud. He's a known commodity in the league. They bring in Jalen Phillips in the draft out of Miami. He was a guy who had number 1 overall potential. Emmanuel Ogbah, that's a proven veteran pro right there. And then Javon Holland in the back end of their defense to go along with Xavier Howard. I mean, their secondary is solid. And then their linebacking room, you got veterans. Defensive line, veterans, and talent. I mean,
who's going to be rushing the quarterback?
Phillips.
How many sacks did he have last year?
Wilkins.
What do you have? 5 sacks last year?
I just think you're being a little too negative. I think you got to look at it and go, this is a team on the rise.
I think that's still a tough division where I think they'll split with the Patriots. I think probably, and I think they'll get crushed by Buffalo a couple times. And I think the Jets are going to be better. I think the Dolphins will win both those games, but
the Jets are starting Joe Flacco in week 1. They can't even keep Zach Wilson upright.
Wilson is starting.
Zach Wilson he's going to get hurt again. That dude is an injury-prone bust.
All right.
Well, as for the Patriots, they're trash. They're just not going to be good this year. Who's catching the ball?
Phillips, 8.5 sacks last year as a rookie. That is pretty good. I'll give him that.
Who's catching the ball, Will, in New England?
Hunter Henry. Devontae Parker. That's all we need. Mac Jones will make it work with anyone. He's mini Tom Brady. He doesn't need a good receiver.
Wow.
Man makes it work.
Devontae Parker is so bad. The Miami Dolphins traded him in division to the Patriots. They're like, yeah, we don't care. He's not gonna do any damage with you.
Biggest mistake of their lives.
Yeah, I don't know. Who's calling plays? Who's calling plays, by the way? Who's calling plays in New England?
I will figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Right?
All right,
they're splitting play calling duties right now. It's looking like it's going to be Patricia. That's my prediction. But as of preseason, they were kind of splitting it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see them do terrible this season. We'll go ahead and move on to NFC Division Winners. We'll start it off with Ethan Cherry again. Who you got out of the NFC?
All right. We'll start off with the East. I think this could be a tough division. I like the Commanders kind of having a bounce back year. But I'm going to go with the Eagles when all is said and done. They made a lot of good upgrades this offseason. Defense got better and added a really good receiver in A.J. Brown. Next up, we're going to go out of the North. I'm going to take the Vikings, but I think the Bears will surprise some teams. I think the Bears split with the Packers this year, and I think they go around 7-10, 8-9. Not a good team necessarily, but I think Fields can win some games for this team this season.
The Bears.
And then we'll go down south. Down south, I like the Bucks pretty easily in that division. Out west, I'm going to go with the 49ers. Sticking with my guy, Robbie Gould, absolute Green Bay Packer killer. And I think the Rams could have a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover down year where I think they'll be a wild card team, but not a great season for the Rams, I'm going to say.
Got some serious faith in the rookie Trey Lance.
It's not faith in Trey Lance. They're going from Jimmy Garoppolo, who's a good quarterback. I will defend Jimmy Garoppolo. He's been to a Super Bowl, and he's won Super Bowls, technically. But I'm trusting that defense. I'm trusting Kyle Shanahan to move the ball with Ayuk and Deebo Samuel in a good run game. I'm trusting that defense, and I'm trusting Kyle Shanahan.
And maybe you can answer this. What's up with all the offseason love for the Vikings? They didn't really add any pieces. They didn't really do much addition.
They only added a new head coach. That's all.
It's more Packers getting worse.
That's right.
And they, I think a lot of people are liking the new OC or head coach Aiden O'Connell, right? Nope, Kevin O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell's Purdue's quarterback.
Yeah.
Are they related at least? You guys. All right, so that's just one thing that I've been seeing all offseason is the Vikings just getting a ton of love for absolutely no reason. They always get this like every 2 years, get a ton of love, and then just absolute trash team. So, Will, let's go ahead and hear your NFC winners.
All right, we'll start it off in the NFC East, and this one's tough for me too. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to go with those boys. This is their year. And not those boys you were thinking of. I'm thinking of the Birds, baby. Yep. The Birds are taking it this year. Jalen Hurts, top 5 in fantasy this year. He's going off. The Cowboys, they're getting all the preseason hype again, just like they always do. It's never going to be their year. It's done. It's over. Jerry Jones he's never going to make it happen. Eagles are running away with this. NFC West, it's a different story. Very close. There's 4 teams here. 3. Not the Seahawks. 3 teams here that look very solid. I agree with Cherry. I think the Rams could come out and have a little, Super Bowl hangover. But at the end of the day, it's a long season, and that hangover is not going to last very long. And when I look at that division, Matthew Stafford, he's way older than the other 2 boys over in Arizona and San Fran. The guy in Arizona, he's too busy playing video games. He doesn't have to watch film anymore. I can't trust that they're even going to make the playoffs. And the 49ers, great team. I got to see Trey Lance first. I'm a Jimmy G guy just like Cherry. So for me, I'm going to have to go Rams again. They're not a Super Bowl pick for me, but they're winning the division. NFC North, I'm with Cherry there too. I'm taking the Vikings. They may not have added, a bunch, but, I think Kirk Cousins, like Ryan Tannehill, like Derek Carr, he's a very slept-on quarterback. And I think, like Cherry said as well, the Packers, they got a lot worse. Aaron Rodgers coming out and saying that his receivers can't catch the football. And he's already threatened to cut him from the team, and he's not even the GM. So, I don't really know what's going on in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is on a whatever kind of drug he's doing now to cope with the fact that his team sucks. I don't know. Well, yeah, whatever it is. It's going to take a lot of drugs for him to get through this season when he realizes how bad the Packers got in the offseason. And you know what? And I think the Lions and the Bears are going to be more improved this year. I think the NFC North is going to be a great, tough, little gritty division, just like it always is. NFC South, Bucks run away with it. Tom Brady, TB12. Let's go.
Ryan, what do you got for us?
Well, I got to follow up after both of you guys. Very good job.
That's right. That's what Sorry, Ryan.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I'll start with the NFC East. This one's easy for me. I got to go with Dallas. I know Jerry Jones is saying that he's got the offense, Cowboys offense, all in line, and Dak's gonna have the best year yet. So I'm with the Cowboys hype. And then let's go NFC South. Bucks are gonna run with it. So I got to go with the Buccaneers on that one. Carolina. Of quarterback, decisions with their Mayfield and
Newton.
I just got to stop bringing up Carolina. I'm asking for it at this point. I like Buccaneers in the South, and in the West, that's also a good one. I'll just say Stafford and the Rams. I think they're going to have another good season. And last but not least, the North. I gotta stick with my MVP pick, Kirk Cousins. He's going to lead the Vikings to the NFC Championship, and that's all I'm going to say right there.
Yeah.
Skull Vikings.
Love it.
Only real zag there from Ryan's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Lose Amari Cooper and don't really replace him. Lose Lyle Collins, don't really replace him.
Yeah, but you got Dalton Schultz. He's a good tight end. He's a good end zone target. And then CeeDee Lamb. Even I guess Cedric Wilson's not there anymore, is he?
No, he's not.
No.
I believe he's in Miami.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
That's okay.
You know what?
I like Tony Pollard could he could be a good catch running back, receiving running back.
Yeah,
he's got options.
Brian has lost faith in that pick. He's just going to stick with it because he said it. All right. I'll go ahead and go into my NFC picks here. I got the Eagles coming out of the East. I got the Saints out of the South. I think that they're going to surprise. Jameis Winston is kind of like my Tua of the NFC this year. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. Michael Thomas is back, so they're going to hit so many slant routes for first downs. And then I just think that their defense is super underrated, so I think that they might be able to, catch Tampa sleepwalking, asleep at the wheel. Tom Brady's taking absences from the team. Who he might take one during the middle of the season at this point. We don't know. He's clearly not locked in on football anymore. Really question how that affects his legacy. Definitely not the best quarterback ever.
Blaine Gabbert, well, he's got it.
And then out of the West, I have the Rams. I think that the Super Bowl hangover will be against the Bills, and then they're going to get it right back into in gear and win that division fairly easily. I think that every other team in that division has weaknesses. I don't think the Rams do. Out of the North, I think it's going to be a surprising winner for you guys this year. I think it's going to be the Detroit Lions.
No.
I'm all in.
They're the hard knocks team this offseason, this preseason. There's always a surprise team in the playoffs every year. I think Jared Goff has that experience. I think that they have the weapons. DeAndre Swift's not going to get hurt. I think that defense is going to get in line, figure it out. So give me the Detroit Lions, and the Green Bay Packers will make the playoffs as the wild card team. Aaron Rodgers is some of his best work in the wild card round anyway. Reactions, thoughts?
I love the Lions pick. Maybe not going to happen, but I love the enthusiasm. I love what's going on there in Detroit. New HC is stirring it up. Jared Goff getting slept on like always. It's going to be a great squad. I'm on St. Brown, another slept on guy, absolute beast. Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive line. I'm all in on the Lions with you. I'm right.
Are you switching your team there in the North?
No. maybe 3 or 4 years down the road.
Yeah, more time.
They're still the Lions.
They're still the Lions.
Still the Lions. Are we? No, I don't want to take over here.
I was just looking at what I had written down. Will, you changed your AFC West pick to the Raiders, right?
I absolutely did not.
Okay, you're sticking with the Chargers?
It's still Chargers. I just have the Raiders finishing above the Chiefs.
Second place finish.
And who'd you have out of the North in the AFC?
Vikings.
AFC.
Vikings.
AFC.
AFC? Oh. I think I had the Bengals. Yeah, I had the Bengals.
Okay. All right. Just check. All right. So we'll go ahead and move on to our Super Bowl predictions now. Super Bowl matchup and the Super Bowl winner. You can say them at the same time. It doesn't matter. We'll go ahead and go Ryan Bentz first. Who you got coming out of the AFC and NFC, and who do you have winning?
Yeah. So AFC, I think it's the Bills. I think they're just going to come out on top. They're going to have a dominant season. Enough said that. I think most of you, everybody, even our fans, can agree with me on that one. For the NFC, this one's going to be more tough, more maybe at first confusing team to choose from. It's a lot of solid teams, but I'll go with the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow.
I'm just going to say it because I'm looking at all the teams here, and Minnesota only was so bad last year because of their coaching. So they got a new head coach. That's still have
Nebraska every year.
They still got Kirk Cousins. They got Dalvin Cook in the backfield, and they got Danielle Hunter on the D line, and they got Justin Jefferson, one of the best wide receivers in the league, and then Adam Thielen still hanging in there strong. And I think they got a complete unit with the Vikings, and then the Vikings are going to be my pick to win the Super Bowl.
Oh wow, yeah, the first time ever in franchise.
And Kirk Cousins earning himself the MVP.
This is about to be the greatest season in Minnesota Vikings history.
Will, who do you got?
I mean, I've said it many times. I'm all in on the Bills, unfortunately. I have to say it. Sorry, Pats Nation, but we got to be realistic. You know, Josh Allen's the boy. And the AFC, I will say, the AFC is going to be – it's a loaded crowd. A lot of teams look really good. I can see a lot of teams making the Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, the way the Bills went out last year, I think Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs are about to put together a duo that it's going to be legendary. You know, so I think the Bills got a little more to prove, a little redemption time, and they're gonna take it this year. Playing against them on the NFC side, it's the complete opposite of the AFC. I don't see a lot of teams that look like they should be in the Super Bowl. Nothing out of the NFC East. NFC West, I can see the Rams in the NFC Championship. That'd probably be my pick for the NFC Championship. NFC North, I don't think anyone's doing there either. Sorry, Ryan. Vikings not doing it. At the end of the day, NFC, the Buccaneers and the Rams, it's going to be a rematch of last year. But, you know, Tommy Brady in the playoffs, you don't beat him twice unless your name's Peyton Manning or Eli Manning. Unfortunately for the Rams, Matthew Stafford's not a Manning. And so Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Super Bowl, it's going to be incredible. Tom Brady taking home his 8th ring.
Yeah, crazy. You don't beat Tom Brady in the playoffs unless you're Matthew Stafford last year beating Tom Brady in the playoffs.
I said twice.
Okay.
Like beat him twice, yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Cherry, who do you got?
All right. I'll go NFC first. And yeah, NFC, there aren't a ton of super impressive teams, but I'm going to stick with the 49ers as my NFC team to win the NFC. I think it's going to be a dogfight between them and the Bucs. And then in the AFC, I think I'm gonna pick a team that's being slept on a little bit. The AFC North, I'm going the Ravens. I think Lamar has a lot to prove in the playoffs, and I think he's good enough where he'll step up in the playoffs and prove that he's an elite quarterback as long as he stays healthy. And I think that defense could be special with Kyle Hamilton, which I know he was listed as a second stringer. That secondary could be very good. Good pass rush too. They got good linebacker, and I think that offense will make it work with that run game between Dobbins and Lamar, and could always throw to Bateman too. And just a proven coach and proven defense. I'm just gonna stick with the Ravens to win the Super Bowl.
Will the lights go out at halftime?
Yes.
All right. So we're just getting a complete repeat of that Super Bowl with -1 Harbaugh.
Exactly.
And minus a Kaepernick.
That's and Flacco, I guess.
And Flacco. Yeah, Jets, you never know.
For me, I'll start with the AFC. Again, I've been pretty bullish on them the last 2 episodes. Brandon Staley, Coach of the Year, Justin Herbert, MVP. Give me the Chargers out of the AFC. I think the defense is going to be insane. I like pretty much their entire offensive weapon room, I guess. I like them all. So give me the Chargers side of the AFC. And the NFC, it's going to be a wild card team. You want to know who you don't want to see out of the wild card? Aaron Rodgers. Okay, won one Super Bowl as the 6th seed in the NFC. So give me the Packers in the Super Bowl. Give me the Packers to win the Super Bowl. Justin Herbert's too young. He's not ready for the moment. Aaron Rodgers is angry. All right, he's going to be spreading the ball around. They might have 9 people catch the ball every game. I don't know. Give me the Packers to win the Super Bowl. And you know what? Here's going to be a little added bonus here. Christian Watson, the rookie out of NDSU, Super Bowl MVP.
Wow.
Didn't know there was a comedy show. Jeez.
No, that's just every Chicago Bears broadcast.
I'll be the first one to admit it.
You know, secondary, Ethan, I thought your AFC pick, you were going to stick with your Jaguars take.
Oh, no.
I like your Chargers pick.
They're losing in the first round of the playoff. Too young. And also, I'm just going to go ahead and open this up to all 3 of you. You all took Minnesota. I took Detroit. So Bob bet you guys take Minnesota to win the NFC. If Minnesota wins the NFC North, not the NFC, NFC North, Bob bet I'll give you guys each 3 a Bob. If any other team wins in the NFC North, I get a Bob from each one of you.
Any
I
other
like it.
team?
Yeah,
Dude,
I get a field.
Screw
I
it.
get
Let's
the
do
field.
it. Let's do it.
Jerry, you down for that?
Oh, yeah. I'm taking any bet against the Lions. Like, the Lions for me are the Chiefs for Will.
No, Jerry. You guys get Minnesota. I get the field.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll still take that.
All right.
Oh, we lost Ryan.
All right. See you later, Ryan. We'll go ahead and move on from losing Ryan to the Prime 9, everyone's favorite segment here, where we pick 9 of the biggest games in football this week. We got them up on the screen here. We'll start from left to right in descending order. So Chicago 49ers is our first matchup. Will, who you got in that one?
You know, I think everyone wants to take the 49ers here. And the reason I wanted this game in here is because it's my upset of the week. At home, Soldier Field, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, 2 young quarterbacks. Justin Fields, a little more experience, played all last season. I think the 49ers are a great team, but I think week 1 is an upset alert on the road. Basically a rookie quarterback. I'm taking the Chicago Bears, baby.
I don't care who I pick to win the NFC. All I know is that Sunday, Soldier Field, noon game, bad weather. I'm loving the Bears. They got new turf. Fields is going to be running that ball. I'm going to say he gets over 100 rushing yards. And Nick Bosa is going to be shut down by rookie left tackle Braxton Jones. No sacks for Nick Bosa. And I'm going to go with the Bears in a blowout.
Bears in a blowout, says Jerry.
I like it.
Ryan, who do you got in the first Prime 9 matchup of the week? Chicago, San Francisco.
Yeah, I like San Francisco a lot. I think Trey Lance is going to have a great what are you guys messing with your hands for? No, because it's the Bears. I'm sorry, I'm slow. But I do like San Francisco a lot to win that, and probably by 10 or 14 points.
I'm also taking the Niners, so we'll go ahead and move on to LA Buffalo. We actually already all picked this one because Will forgot to not ask us about it. But we'll go ahead and jump into that one. Cherry, who you got? LA Bills.
Bills, I think in a blowout also. Big blowout weekend, I guess. But I like or a week because that one's tomorrow. But yeah, I like the Bills big. I think it's going to be Super Bowl hangover for the Rams. I think Stafford, I'm going to say 2 picks. I'm going to say Kaiir Elam, the rookie corner out of Florida, gets one of them.
Well,
I've been going with Cherry all night tonight, and it's going to be the same thing right here. I'm going the Buffalo Bills. I think the Rams Super Bowl hangover. for the same reason. Matt Stafford, he throws a pick every once in a while, but, against the Bills, you throw a pick, Josh Allen's going to go down and score on it. It's going to probably be a 14-point dub or more. I'm taking the Bills easy in this one.
Stafford led the league in picks last year.
That he did. And that's why I decided to take him in fantasy. So I'll be in last place.
I'm riding the Bills all the way.
I'm also going Bills, so we're all picking the upset, I guess, because the Rams are the favorite team in that one. And then next up we have Cowboys versus Buccaneers. Cherry, who you got?
Going Bucks in a blowout. Enough said.
If you are a warm coastal team this weekend, you are losing in a blowout.
Exactly.
You know what, Cherry? You know what? We're just on the same page tonight. I'm following right up with you. I'm taking the Bucks in a blowout. My boy Tom's getting it done. He lost the same game to open the year up last year. This year, Tom Brady's just going to run away with it.
Not
Cherry
so
Dallas.
fast, Will.
Cherry went Dallas.
No.
You said Bucks.
Oh, I thought you said Dallas. My bad.
Nope, Bucks.
Not so fast, Will. It was a very close game last year, the opener against the Bucks and the Cowboys. And I don't know. I got to go with the Cowboys on this one.
Ryan is correct. It was a close game, and the Cowboys got jobbed. There was like 3 or 4 instances where Tom Brady just bombed a ball out of bounds, no receiver in the vicinity. And apparently intentional grounding doesn't exist when you're Tom Brady. And so he escaped, no penalties. Clock kept running. They got a first down when they shouldn't have got one because there should have been an intentional grounding penalty. That doesn't matter, though. The Dallas Cowboys are probably the most what's the opposite of improvement? That's what the Dallas Cowboys did this offseason. They got worse significantly. So I'm taking the Bucks in that one. Next up, big afternoon matchup, Minnesota, Green Bay. This is the NFC primetime matchup, our NFC North premier matchup of the week. It's clearly going to be a Packers dub, and so we'll go ahead and move on to the next one, Broncos, Seahawks. I know we're all taking the Packers in that last one. So.
Going Vikings in a blowout.
Vikings in a blowout.
I'm going Vikings in a blowout, too.
You know what? I'm saying Packers get shut out. Heard it here first. Last year, the first game of the year, I forgot who they were playing, but Aaron Rodgers looked like absolute crap. They
still got a field goal in that game against the Saints.
Except for go to Hawaii and hang out with ugly girls.
And do I wash it or whatever it's called.
Ryan?
I got to go Skol Vikings.
All right. Moving on to Denver, Seattle. I'm going to go ahead and take Denver in this one. I think Russell Wilson gets revenge. In Seattle, who's throwing the ball there?
Drew Lock.
Is he? I thought it was Geno.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Geno, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, who do you got?
I like the Seahawks.
You're going to need to defend that.
Rashad Penny. He's a great running back.
Rashad Penny. Just the unproven running back, Rashad Penny.
Just Rashad Penny. I like it.
Pete Carroll. I like that coach.
Well,
you know what? I don't think Steven Spielberg could have wrote this any better. Russell Wilson, week 1, returning to Seattle. This is going to be every NFL fan's dream to watch this game because the Broncos are going to win in blowout fashion. And Seahawks fans are going to go from loving Russell Wilson at the beginning of the day to hating his guts when he's up 5 touchdowns.
Jerry.
I think the Broncos will have a little bit of a disappointing season. I think their pass rush is a little bit overrated, but their secondary could be pretty good. And I think it's going to be a close game, but Broncos win it.
The absolute disrespect to Nebraska, great Randy Gregory there with that little pass rush comment. I always knew Terry wasn't a real fan. Watch him pick the Georgia Southern Eagles in this next one here.
He was
Nebraska.
Micah Parsons last season. He's going to have harder matchups this year.
Nebraska, Georgia Southern in Lincoln. Nebraska favored again somehow, even though they are the worst team against the spread ever. So we'll go ahead and hear from all you guys. Who are we taking? Huskers, Eagles.
I'm gonna say
right.
Anthony Grant fumbles 3 times, but Nebraska wins by 40.
Will.
I'm gonna go Skurs by 90.
Skurs.
I'm also taking Nebraska, but it'll definitely be a closer game than people expect.
Not by the spread.
Next up, we got Alabama, Texas. Ryan, we'll go ahead and let you lead off the Texas Bama pick 'em here.
Roll Tide Bama. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a Texas fan, so I know it spreads 20 plus 20 underdogs, but you're going to the house in Austin, Texas, so I got to go with the home crowd and the Longhorns on this one.
Did Ryan sound convincing at all with that?
Not at all.
Hey, it's you got.
You didn't even give us a hook 'em. You didn't even throw up the horns or say hook 'em. Come on.
He's
Roll
afraid.
Hook 'em horns, baby. Hook 'em horns.
I was thinking about taking the Longhorns just for my boy Big Sam, who was the best quarterback in the preseason. Okay? It looks like a future stud in the NFL. I should have worn my jersey for the show tonight. Maybe next week I will. I'm taking Bama just because Ryan was so unconvincing with his Longhorns pick. So roll Tide.
At least I still picked them.
I'm gonna go with Ethan there. I'm taking Bama by a lot of touchdowns to not very many touchdowns. Horns down.
I'm taking Bama. Will Anderson's going to have a big game, I think. I think Texas's offensive line got a couple freshmen on it. Could be a little bit shaky. I think Will Anderson's going to feast.
Quinn Ewers starting, the former 5-star number 1 quarterback in the country last class, 2 classes ago. He was at Ohio State last year. Over under 4.5 sacks. How many times does Quinn Ewers eat the dirt behind the line of scrimmage?
Over.
Under, right at 4.
His life is
Yeah.
in danger.
I was the odds maker, so I'm not picking that one. I don't want to give it away for you guys there. BYU Baylor top 25 matchup. Who we got in the battle of the Cougars and the Bears? A little bit of a religious holy war here, not the holy war, but a holy war.
Right, no doubt about that. I got to go with Baylor Bears.
Jerry, who do you got?
A little bit of a crusade, if you will, but I'm going Baylor also.
Well,
You know what? I love putting my upset picks in the prime 9 because I'm going BYU. I think Baylor's got a lot of hype. I'm not buying it. It's going to be an upset. Go Cougars.
that pick was so bad his computer didn't even want to let him make it. It was trying to freeze the screen. It was trying to make so we couldn't hear it. We're gonna have to go with Baylor here in Iowa, just because Baylor was my dream school. So give me the Bears, sick 'em. And we'll go ahead and move on to our last pick, the Group of 5 game of the week. Old Dominion, who upset Virginia Tech last week, and East Carolina. East Carolina is favored in that one. Who do we have? Monarchs, Pirates.
I'll start. I like East Carolina Pirates. I think they'll take this one away.
I'm going to go with East Carolina as well. Old Dominions, they're still living in a dream after coming off their Virginia Tech win. They're going to be sleeping this Saturday. East Carolina, tough loss, very good offense. It's going to be a blowout.
I'm also going East Carolina. They looked good against NC State last week. I thought their defense looked fast, so I'm going to go East Carolina.
You guys are overblowing in the upset hangover here for the Monarchs. All right, this is the second time in 2 years that they beat the Hokies. So they beat them in Blacksburg last year. So give me the Monarchs. ODU, some of the nicest uniforms in college football. So I'm going to go ahead and take Old Dominion to win that one to wrap up the Prime 9. And just for the sake of getting the show done within an hour, we're going to go ahead and cut a couple things, and we're going to jump into the new segment. We haven't seen it yet, but he's done it once already. It's Quantum Cherries. Ethan, what do you got for us?
All right. So basically, this is just going to be a random mashup of the most random things you could think of. We're going to start off with a little bit of hockey talk here on Save Saturdays. Almost training camp time. Contracts are getting signed. We got Kirby Dach signing a 4-year, $13.45 million contract with the Montreal Canadiens, around a $3.4 million average annual value. And I've never been the best Kirby Dach fan, but I like this. I like this signing. You're betting on some upside here from a third overall pick from only 3 years ago, and I think it could end up being a good contract. He's proven that he could play in the league. He's got almost 200 games under his belt as a 22-year-old now. So I like betting on his upside a little bit. Big centerman. And next up, I'm going to talk a little bit of Heisman candidates and some college football quarterbacks. Little Anthony Richardson and Stetson Bennett, who I think is he'd be my sleeper pick for the Heisman right now. I thought he looked great. He got a new haircut, and he's throwing the ball with a little bit more confidence and velocity, I thought, against Oregon, against a good team. And they were using a little bit more athleticism, rolling him out a little bit more, and he was putting the ball in some tight windows. And then Anthony Richardson, I mean, what else can you say? The 46-yard touchdown run. He's like 240 pounds, but he runs a 4.4. He looks like Justin Fields out there.
Disappointing and sacked constantly?
Absolutely not.
Did you guys see
his team?
Did you guys see the pump fake spin move, jumping
Yes.
spin move? That was insane.
Incredible.
I love that play.
He's so fast and athletic for his size. I think he's going to have the flashy plays where he could have easily have a Heisman season. I think he's top 3 in the odds right now. I'd put him way up there.
Cherry betting on a Heisman moment-laden season from Anthony Richardson.
Definitely.
Anyone else got a reaction to Quantum Cherries before we get into the least prepared portion of the show?
Let's do
I
it.
wonder what that would be.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get into our weekly season or show ending segment. Big Bets' bets of the week. Last week you didn't do the greatest. You didn't do terrible. You didn't do the greatest.
Yeah, I had some good ones. I had a few bad ones.
Chase Elliott to win Darlington didn't even make top 5. Joey Logano though to finish top 5, 4th. So you hit on that one. MSU to cover their -22 spread. They won by 22. Then you had UTSA to cover a -4, a tiny spread. They lose by 2. Covers there. So that's 3 wins in a row. But then you get to South Dakota, cover against Kansas State. Yeah, it was a blowout, 34-0. They didn't even have a shot in that game.
Yeah.
And then he finished up with Cam Smith to win the PGA Tour event last weekend, and he did not. And he's actually in hot water with the PGA Tour right now with the LIV Tour. So
That's right.
It was a little tough to figure out if Cam Smith even competed last weekend when I was doing my research on your bet.
Yeah. Yeah. So he did. He competed. He had an eagle putt actually, but that's all I heard from that tournament. I just know Dustin Johnson won, but that's old news now. So we'll go ahead and jump into big bets of the week. So that didn't sound right. Ryan's big bets. Big Bence's
bets of the week.
Got it. Thank you. All right. So we'll start at NASCAR. It's the second race of the round of 16 playoffs. It'll be at Kansas Speedway in Overland Park, Kansas. And I got, for a top 5 finish, Tyler Reddick driving that 8 Chevy. He's been very consistent in the top 10 lately. I think he'll have a strong showing at Kansas like he has in the past. So I think he'll finish top 5, if not a win. But, however, if we go in manufacturers, I like Ford winning even 1-2. So Ford goes 1-2. That could be any driver, any team. That could be Blaney, Joey, Logano finishing 1-2, and that's a payout of plus 2,000. So put $10, you win 200, just like that. So go ahead and look at a Ford 1-2 finish at Kansas Speedway. And moving on to golf, we got the Bmw Pga Championship. So that is a tournament that will allow live golfers and PGA golfers to compete against each other. Look for some tensions. We've already seen tension already with Billy Horschel and Ian Poulter getting it on the practice greens already. So I think this is going to be a very interesting tournament. I like I think a top 10. I don't have a winner in mind, but I like top 10 to be Rory McIlroy. He won the FedEx Cup Championship. I think he'll play really well. And then top 40, Billy Horschel, Florida Gator. I think he'll do really well again this tournament. So moving on to some college and pro football. I got Tennessee versus Pitt. Tennessee's favored by 6. I would hammer Tennessee. I just think they blew out. I don't even remember who they played last week, but I think they won 51-10. I think it was the same score Texas had against Louisiana Monroe. But I like Tennessee versus Pitt, and then Kentucky versus Florida. Good SEC matchup. Florida's favored by 6. I like Florida by 6. South Carolina versus Arkansas. Arkansas had a good matchup against Cincinnati. I think they'll take this one against the Gamecocks pretty handily by 8. Moving on to NFL, Steelers, Bengals. Bengals favored by 6.5. I like the Bengals to win that one. And then Colts, Texans. Colts with Matt Ryan and Jonathan Taylor. I think they'll tear it up against the Texans easily by more than a touchdown. And then Jaguars, Commanders, Trevor Lawrence, my comeback player of the year. I like the Jags to win versus the Commanders, and the Commanders are favored by 2.5. But I like the Jaguars 1-0 start.
I absolutely love that as well. I got them winning that division. So I need a big win in week 1. It's not a division game. It's not even a conference game, but I don't care. I need the Jags to get all the wins they can get, especially with my bot bet for the playoffs there.
Yes, sir.
Billy Horschel, not a name I'm familiar with. Do you expect him to be very high in the top 40 or just kind of on the fringe of the top 40?
Well, I think he'll be high up there. I know top 40 is a very safe bet in my mind. I think even a top 20 will work, but I know the odds aren't as best in the top 40, but if you want something a little more juicy, I'd go top 20, but safe bet will get you a win for Billy Horschel top 40.
And Tennessee beat Ball State 59-10 last week. So a regional matchup as Ball State's out in Indiana. So yeah, I like the Volunteers. I think they're in a good place with Josh Heupel. Hendon Hooker is a really good quarterback. So electric quarterback actually. And
electric for sure.
So, yes. Pitt kind of licking its wounds after losing the backyard brawl to West Virginia. So we'll see how it goes.
Yes, I agree. It'll be a fun one.
We'll go ahead and add these other two back now that they've quit laughing themselves off the screen here. And we got a minute or so to go till the end of the night here. So, Cherry, Will, tell us a little bit about what the debate was off screen before the show.
Let's hear it.
I think when the Huskers first started playing, I think it was you're talking about the Anthony Grant debate. Are you correct?
No, I'm talking about this Allen Newton debate.
Oh, okay. We've had many debates in the past day even. So Will had thought that Cam Newton was a bust. And this is how it started, where he called Cam Newton a bust. And I said, Cam Newton isn't a bust. I think he had some very good seasons. He went to a Super Bowl even, and his career was kind of derailed by injuries. And I would say he's more like he was successful in his career, but just injury prone. And eventually at the end of his career, I think he had a couple shoulder injuries and he couldn't throw the ball at all, which I acknowledge Josh Allen is definitely a better quarterback than Cam Newton. But I by no means think Cam Newton's a bust.
All right, let's set the record straight since Cherry doesn't like to tell the truth. The debate was, I said, if I were an NFL GM and I were rebuilding a team and I could pick any quarterback, I want a guy like Josh Allen.
I agree.
To have his career, I would take Josh Allen. The reason I said Cam Newton was a bust was because of the injuries. I would never, if I knew what Cam Newton's career in Carolina would be, I would never draft him. Not because he's not talented, not because he's not an MVP caliber player at the time, but I want more than one Super Bowl out of my quarterback. If I'm drafting a quarterback, I want a guy that can sling the ball around for 10-plus seasons, and he can keep me competitive for 10 to 15 seasons. Cam Newton, incredible talent, but you're getting 3 to 4 years of success, and then suddenly you got Baker Mayfield as your quarterback, and look where you're at.
I didn't know GMs could predict the future. Of course, anyone's going to take Josh Allen over Cam Newton, knowing what we know now.
Well, that's what I was saying. Knowing what we know now, I'd rather have Josh Allen.
Yeah, and I agree there, but I wouldn't call Cam Newton a bust. He went to a Super Bowl. He won an MVP. At his peak, when he was playing at his best, then I think he's not better than Josh Allen at his best, but I think he was a player that was worthy of first overall when he was at his peak.
I'm just happy to hear that Phillip Rivers was apparently a bust because he never won a Super Bowl or an MVP.
I guess so.
Here's what I'll say.
Drew Brees partial bust because he never won an MVP.
I'll say if Cam Newton doesn't get hurt. Say he's still in Carolina, like Ryan still thinks. And
he'll always be in Carolina.
He's still in Carolina, and he never got hurt, never had the injuries. I'm still taking Josh Allen at both of their peaks. Why? Because like I said, Cam Newton, his game, his whole style is dependent on the run game. When he was at his MVP level, it was power run, QB draw, 3 times a drive, and his arm was never really a factor, followed by a good running game and a great defense in Carolina. Josh Allen, yeah, he likes to run. He's a little reckless too, but that guy could not – he could not run a design run all year long, and he's winning the MVP anyway. That arm is the best of the best. I'm taking Josh Allen at any point in time in their careers.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Josh Allen is – no one's denying that he's a way better thrower of the football. But my main argument, I'm taking Josh Allen every day of the week over Cam Newton.
Got to be agreed.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't make Cam Newton a bust, though. That's what you had listed. We were talking SEC quarterbacks and quarterbacks that were kind of supported by their teams. And he had listed Cam Newton as a bust, and I just can't agree.
Okay, so we'll meet in the middle. I'll say he's not a bust, but I still wouldn't draft him if I were rebuilding the team.
Just want to straighten some things out real quick, Jerry. Just hold on. Arm's not a factor in a season where he throws for 3,817 yards and 35 touchdowns. Arm not a factor in that season.
3,800 yards gets you released nowadays. We saw that with Jimmy Garoppolo. That's nothing.
Well, you go for 3,800, but then you also add in the 636 rushing yards and the 10 touchdowns on the ground, and now you're saying he's 4,100 total yards and 45 total touchdowns to, let's see, 15 turnovers. Well, come on, you're way out of bounds calling him a bust here. I think if you go back to the GM of the Panthers whenever they drafted Cam Newton in 2011 and tell him exactly how the career is going to play out, I think no doubt he makes the exact same decision. He probably makes it more confidently than when he actually picked Cam Newton. That's all you want out of a first overall pick is that they take you to a Super Bowl, and he did it. MVP, cherry on top. You're not even asking for an individually good season. You're just looking for the team success. No one's taking Josh Allen, or no one's taking Cam Newton over Josh Allen. But to call Cam Newton a bust, that's way out of line. That's way out of bounds.
Well, we're not even arguing the same thing anymore. You guys are just taking Josh Allen out of the equation. I want longevity in a quarterback, an MVP level quarterback for 10 to 15 years. That's why I'm taking Josh Allen. I'll take back my comment. I'll say I was wrong about Cam Newton being a bust. But even if I'm drafting at that time, I'm still not taking Cam Newton anyway. I want a guy that can throw the football. I watched Cam Newton in New England for a year. It was pretty hard to watch.
You want a pocket thrower, not a rusher.
Cam Newton.
And not to mention, you brought up Cam Newton's stat line, adding his passing and his rushing stats. I can look to all four of Josh Allen's season, and he crushes Cam Newton's MVP season. If Josh Allen played back then without Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow in the league, Josh Allen wins MVP 4 years in a row.
It's almost like the game has changed since Cam Newton won MVP. It's wild, Will. It's crazy.
You can't just take Mahomes and Herbert out, though, and Rodgers out, though. Like, Newton was the best player in the league that year.
I have no doubt he was. I never said he wasn't. I'm saying I want more than 1 year of production out of my quarterback. I don't want 1 year of MVP play. I want 15.
No
All
one's denying
right.
that Allen is better.
All right, we are 6 minutes overtime. We're 6 minutes overtime here. Will got his closing statement. All right, we're going to call it here. This has been the 37th episode of Save Saturdays. Thank you guys for watching, and be sure to tune back in as Big Bets answers for more of his failures in the betting sphere. Thank you for watching. Horns down, everybody. Horns down.
Have a good night.